Good morning, everyone. It is, I'm making sure my mute's not off. It is. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, September 5th, 2020. Um, Today we're going to do some mini readings, which is going to be awesome. It's been a little crazy spiritually all last night and this morning. The dogs keep barking as if somebody's outside, and every time I look, I see some strange little thing that's popping up saying, hey, something's outside, which is always funny to see out of the corner of your eye. But anyway, so for some reason, some of the comments are not coming through. I can see the YouTube comments, but every other channel, which I normally see, there's some kind of communication error within the system. So any of you are watching out on Facebook or Twitter, I think they're the platforms that I stream on at the same time. If I don't see your message, I'll get to you privately or through the communication link once I'm able to see everything. I'm not sure why it's acting up, but regardless, this is the first time it's done it, so Restream is what I use, and I won't hold it against them. So, all right. So the reading today. So I had a couple people reach out in advance that wanted me to connect with their loved one and get a message regarding some things. So uh, as I do that, there's a couple things I want to remind people. When it comes to talking to someone like me, there is such a thing as loaded questions. And when you're giving a loaded question, it means that it's a little too broad. And when you're doing something like this, where it's a quick little 5 minute or a quick little 10 seconds or whatever it works out to be, when you're giving a broad question, it's becomes something that could be like a 30-minute session. So whenever you're asking somebody for a question to be answered, make sure that you're giving a specific question. For example, when will my finances get better? Well, that's a loaded question. That means that many things can happen to make sure that the question becomes better. It could be that you do, spend too much money on coffee, at Starbucks. They're expensive. And having that every week could uh, drastically affect your finances, especially when you're living paycheck to paycheck. But then, maybe it's really somebody wanting to know when they're going to get a promotion or when they're going to get hired. Those are vastly different answers. And all three of those things could apply. So I just want to make sure that you guys have a little understanding of, in some ways, what it's like to be a medium. And, for myself, I am writing a book. It's called The Grieving Spiritual Medium, because a lot of people don't understand what it's like to, see the dead, talk to the dead, experience the dead 24/7. It's exhausting. And, we don't have too many friends because our friends always want us to be performing, tell me what this person says, tell me what it. So it's a little bit of a lonely existence, even though we're never alone. So, with that said, I'm going to jump into some readings here, some little mini readings. And I'll see the little comments, like I said, on YouTube off to the side. And it looks like one of the platforms is working, my European platform. So, hi, Anya. Great to see you. So, to answer your question, I do card readings, but it's more of I don't want to say a show, but it kind of is, because somebody who's using cards, tarot cards, it's a visual distraction if they're truly communicating. Otherwise, it could be a crutch for them, and that's how they only communicate. Myself, I just open up and talk to the dead, but I will use tarot cards for time to time if the client wants it, because it is actually pretty interesting and different for somebody to see what I see or hear what I say when I'm looking at this weird card. So I do train people by using tarot cards because it is such a good, easy distraction. Um, So yes, I do. Maybe we'll do one of these. Maybe in October. The month of October will be nothing but spiritual stuff, since we got everything going on. So all right, so let me get into it because the time will move super super fast, and I do have the last class for a 6-week class today. So I want to make sure I'm prepared for my students. All right, now before I get into the random stuff. Actually, before I do that, so I keep looking at Anya's name over there, and every time I do, I see this very tall male, a skinny, tall, wearing a hat, and an elderly lady next to him, which reminds me of a grandmom. And I'm not hearing the names or anything just yet, if at all. But that's what happens in these quick little things, because the message is what's important, even in like hour-long sessions, because it feels like 10 minutes went by within 60 minutes. But I want you, I'm supposed to tell you specifically, since I see your name over there, that there's a lot of changes coming your way. You just kind of have to get out of the way. You tend to hold on to control over everything, but it's funny because you're not a control freak. And I hate using that term, but that's a label people know. But you're not like a compulsive, controlling person. But when it comes to relationships and when it comes to material things that you have, you get very controlling over those. And it's because you don't want to lose what you have. And if you lose it, you feel really, really like beside yourself. Like you'll second guess 24/7 what it is that you may have missed or didn't miss. And and this is going to lead into one of the questions that somebody had asked me outside of this when I posted out there. I was doing mini readings to let me know what if you wanted to hear something. But the thing is we have to remember we only have control over our own actions and what we bring into relationships. Whether it's a relationship such as partners or if it's families, we only have control over our own actions and what we bring to it. And it's not a 50-50 relationship. It's 100% you, 100% the other person. And when we can remember that and take that step back, then things don't seem so out of whack. Because if you're giving 100% of you, and that 100% is loving and compassion and caring, and I know you do this, Anya, and the other person doesn't do that, or the other person just takes all the time, that's a one-sided relationship. And it doesn't matter the label. It doesn't matter who the person is. It just, that's what it is. And if you're okay being in that relationship, then great. But if at some point in time that relationship doesn't work for you, regardless of that label, you don't have to be in that relationship, at least not emotionally connected anymore. Certain labels, mom, dad, brother, sister, grandparents, niece, nephews, whatever, they are labels we can't get away from because, they're in our lives, for the most part, forever. And yet we can emotionally disassociate ourselves from that, and so that we were not constantly getting hurt. So with that said, this grandmotherly lady and this very tall male, he and she are joining together. I feel like this is her son that passed away as well. And so he would be feels like an uncle to you. But they want you to know to keep putting your best foot forward. You always do that. Breathe when things get too challenging. And most importantly, evaluate what you truly want in life and what you don't want. And if somebody's not giving that to you, if an employment is not giving that to you, change. Nobody says, well, I take that back. Some people in your life said you have to work, 40, 50 hours a week to get what you want. That's not the case. You work to pay your bills and the little bit of extra that you want. And if that's part-time work, then so be it, and enjoy the part-time life of not working, because that's where we all need to start thinking about. It's not about a slave to the job. It's a job to meet our ends. So, all right. So now I'm going to jump into the pre-question from Rena. Rena wanted to know about a relationship, but she didn't give me too many details. Fortunately, I know who Rena is. She's a client of mine. So I know some automatically off the bat. Not that I remember anything I tell people, but um, uh, this is something that is a circle for her. And so this tends to be the same question every time, mostly because of various things such as being on the right track, making sure that, she's doing the right things. And in the end, unfortunately, it's baby steps for your relationship. But those baby steps are better and will become toddler steps if you continue to pull back, because you are unfortunately someone who gives way too much all the time. And so if you're going to keep giving way too much all the time, then that person is going to take all the time. And some of that is because he hurts inside, and it's the only way he feels good is by taking your love and your energy. And so that's where he has to work on himself and truly find his love and his peace for within himself. For the other aspect of it is, this is the person he knew you to be your entire relationship. So as we change and we realize that we are 100% ourselves within this relationship, then what ends up happening is things start to change within that dynamic, and the other person may not like it. And they can respond in two ways. They can act out. They could, Jamie and Allison, I just want you to know your dad's here, so I'm going to get to you guys in a second. But sorry, he interrupted me. I have to get back to what I was saying. So what ends up happening is either that person will fight for the relationship in a positive way or a negative way. And the negative way could be acting out, could be like starting fights, that kind of thing. I know for myself, when I embraced my abilities, I lost everybody, pretty much everybody that was in my life prior to having the abilities. And it's because as I've changed, because my energy changes, so does those relationships. It's not a bad thing, but it feels like a bad thing because you start to miss people, or it seems like you're pushing people away. And that's not who you are as a person, Rena. You want to grab and pull in and love and take care of and all that stuff. But there's a certain level of aspect when it comes to our own relationships where if we're not getting what we want out of it, it's okay to let it go. Like, it's okay. But yet nobody tells us that. So it's still, so overall, since your question was general, it's a rocky road, and it will be a rocky road for you. Because until he works on himself and truly works on himself, it's an uphill battle. And doesn't mean it won't work out. Doesn't mean it can't work out. But it can be a struggle and a continuance of an uphill situation. So, yeah, there's a lot there. All right. Jamie and Allison. I just want you guys to know Dad is here. I didn't really see he was here with me last night. Otherwise, I would have talked to him last night. But once I saw him, I was like, oh, that's who was standing inside my room. Dave went away this weekend for a brother's weekend in the woods somewhere. And so it was first time by myself in months. And so the spirits were just all over me. Dave's like a human pushing energy field for me. And it was a terrible sleep last night. So I'm glad he's not going to be gone long. But anyhow, so Dad's here, and Dad wants you guys to both know there's been a lot of concerns going on with family dynamics for both of you, and worries and stress that you both have been worrying about when it comes to your kids, some medical issues, some recent, just craziness that's going on. He told me to tell you guys specifically that you both have the tools to know when something's going wrong, and that you both will be able to ensure the safety of your family and make the appropriate decisions that you guys need when it specifically comes to your children. So, with that said, trust your gut, trust your instincts. If you feel that you have no desire to go somewhere or to be somewhere, no matter what that situation is, be like Dad. Don't go. He would purposely, especially in his younger years, stay home. And, people can get offended by that, but in the end, if your gut says to stay in that day, stay in that day. We don't listen to our intuition anymore, and our intuition is the only spiritual ability that we still will maintain and we will still hang on to. So if your intuition is soaring through the roof, that's spiritual activity trying to tell you guys something, so listen to it. So yeah, be like Dad. And if you have to ditch somebody, you tell them you're just not coming and that you'll make it up a different day. Because I know both of you are very sweet people, and they, yeah. And then there's this other young male here. He just wants me to say hi. You all know who he is, but he wants me to tell you hi. Okay. All right. And then Rena just came on. She said good morning. So, Rena, I did read your message prior, so, you'll have to go backwards to hear the message. All right. I'm just checking to see who else is on here as a just in case that I see faces. So, okay, Terry. We'll see if there's one for you. Not yet, but as soon as I said your name, I heard the other side perk up a little bit. So, we're going to wait, and I'll see if something comes up from there. All right, and then the other message I was hearing before starting this live stream today, and as you see, it's already been 20 minutes, or, well, about 19 minutes since we start like 5 minutes in. Debbie M., your mother wants you to know that constantly trying to replace things with materialistic views and idealisms is just your avoidance to truly how you feel inside and the loneliness that you're experiencing. Even though I see that you're in and out of relationships, at the same time, in and out of these relationships, you conform to somebody else. You are not truly you, and you're not a person that you truly want to be. And so because of that, you tend to gravitate towards materialistic things, whether it's fixing up your house, which you just did. I'm being told you've changed a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom, maybe even a bedroom, at least one of the 2, maybe 3 bedrooms in your house. It's a distraction. Find what truly makes you happy. You've been successful in many ways. You've already had your kids, you have grandkids, you've already been married, you've already had a, significant career, even if it never really got you where you wanted to be, but enough to have the things in life that you always wanted, which you've accomplished. So now at this point, what do you truly want? What does Debbie want? Debbie wants something, but she's not getting it. So figure out what that is. Obviously, I can tell you. If they want me to tell you, but they want you to figure it out, because figuring out whether it's through your own journey or going to see somebody to talk it out, whether it's a therapist or even a spiritual person, when you can come to those conclusions yourself, it gives you a sense of empowerment. And that's all you're trying to do, is you're trying to figure it out, but you're figuring it out by spending money. Now, in the end, fixing up your house is going to give you more money in the long run, but not necessarily the same, okay? So, all right, so we got that. And then also, and I feel like she's a friend of Debbie, so I'm sure she'll hear this too. But Linda, you have a lot of people on the other side. George is on the other side. Frank's on the other side. You have a daughter on the other side. Like, you have a lot of people on the other side. You've been to hell and back, and that hell road can feel really exhausting. But you're a fighter, so I know you'll always be here. They want you to stop and smell the roses. The whole process of that, that because you're go all the time, and the only time you're by yourself and you can smell the said roses, is when you're sleeping. You don't give yourself time to take a break from everything and everyone. And I know that's a defense mechanism because of the loss that you've had, But within that quietness and within that stillness, you would be able to see, well, not necessarily see, but you could feel your loved ones around you, feel their energies again, and know that they're all there for you. I know you know that mentally they're there, but you don't feel it. And I know some of that is that fear of stopping. And what does that mean? So stop and smell the roses. They want you to make sure that everything is good there. Celeste, oh, your grandmother specifically wants me to tell you that your job's changing, period. It is gonna continue for as long as about 6 months to 8 months, and then you're gonna get laid off. When you get laid off, it's gonna feel like it's the end of the world, but it actually isn't. When you get laid off, it allows you to reevaluate some things and make some changes that you've been wanting to make, but you never make those changes. And the only way you will is if you're forced into making those changes. So I am seeing you make some changes, specifically when it comes to your home. You have this large mortgage for this massive house that doesn't fit you anymore. There's no reason for it anymore. And because of that, you are consistently working for your home. And it's time to sell. It's time to downsize. It's time to make some changes. And so you'll only do that when you're forced to. Hopefully you'll hear this, and when you do, you'll start making those changes now and sell your house and, move on from there. Okay. Jennifer O, Jennifer P, and Jennifer Z. Your grandparents, all of them, I'm hearing a Mary, I'm hearing a Paul, I'm hearing a Robert, I'm hearing a John. There's a lot. There's, you guys, because there's, let's see, how many? 4 times, so 12, right? I can't believe I just did math. I don't think that was me. Anyway, they want all you 3 gens to know, because you all have the same situations going on. You will get COVID, and you're all worried that you're going to get it, and you're all worry it's the inconvenience that it will be, and more importantly, what does that mean? Now, for you 3, when you get COVID, it's going to suck. You will feel like crap. You'll feel like you're dying, but you're not. You're all fortunately strong enough to not have major complications from it. But you will feel like crap. And all 3 of you don't like to be waited upon, don't like to be sick, don't like to have somebody looking after you and helping you. It's okay every once in a while to allow someone else to help you. It's okay. So if you get it, because obviously paths change, but if you get it, know it's okay to allow someone else to help you. And I said that very slowly so it sinks in to you 3 gens, okay? Because, yeah, you guys are a pain in the butts. I can feel it. I know it. All right. Let me see where we're going to go from here. All right. Michael K, Michael J, Michael M, Michael B as in boy, and Michael T as in Tom. All of you, this is from grandma on dad's sides. Almost all of them are married. Just going to put it out there. All of you have conformed your lives for others. And it's a greatest strength, but it's a terrible weakness. And you would think, well, how can that be a weakness? And that weakness is for some of you, it's because you change to be people that necessarily you wouldn't be if you hadn't been with this particular person in your life. For others, it's because you never find you and you never do what you need to do. You never find your happiness because you're constantly trying to appease somebody else. And the moment that you start to, that person stops you and tells you, you know, that you're wrong or that they need you in this capacity or whatever the case may be. I want you guys to all know that that is never going to change from the partners that you're with. And so as long as you're with them, this is the life that you will have. And that's okay if that's what you choose to do. Just make sure you find some happiness elsewhere, because we can't change people. We want to try and change people. We can't. I don't care what the person's situation is. We can influence them. We can talk to them. We can guide them. But in the end, it's up to that person to truly want to make those changes that they see or don't see. Until then, you have 100% control of you. So I find it interesting that this conversation seems to be about controlling of ourselves, which is not a far-fetched with the current world we're living in. So, and where we're going and the uproar that we currently are living amongst. So, if you choose to stay in these relationships, that is, again, a greatest strength, because not a lot of people would still be with the people you're with. They wouldn't be. They couldn't handle it. You guys can, but you guys are suffering in some way. So find a little bit of piece of you that you enjoy, that you will be able to do once a week, regardless of your financial situation, and ensure that you take time for yourself to reboot, so you can still be there for the people in your life that you want to still be a part of. Okay. All right, so Robert K, Robert M, Robert Y, Robert B, Robert S as in Sam. All of you have so much going on with your health, and you have a lot of family on the other side, various ones, moms, dads, uncles, nephews, nieces. Like, every one of you has some form of label on the other side. They want you all to know, because I know you range in ages too, from 70s down to in your 20s. They all want you to know that you can be here on this earth for as long as you truly want to be here. If you want to fight to stay, then regardless of what health issue you're going through, you can fight to stay. If you don't, that's okay. It's such a beautiful space on the other side. People are free, and you can come right back into a new body if you want to. There's no pain unless you give yourself that pain, such as you do here on earth. We all cause our own pain as well. There are factors where people are doing it to us, and then we hold on to that pain as well. So you can stay as long as you want, but you have to fight for it. And for some of you, fighting for it short term means you don't have to fight long term. For others, it's a long term fight. But there is some avenues out there that will assist to help ease some of that pain, physically and emotionally and mentally. You just have to seek out the other modalities and try them. Try myofascial release. Try seeing a spiritual medium. Try a Reiki master or a Reiki person. Try traditional massage. Try, cupping. Try shamanism. Try, fire ceremonies. Try it all. Because what do you have to lose except for a little bit of money? And if it works, great. Then you know what works for you. And for each person, it might be slightly different. But it's up to you, and only you. For some of you, it's holding on because of loved ones in our lives, because they don't want us to go. And it's going to hurt if you choose that you don't want to be here in this world anymore. It will hurt. And those people will be sad for a long time. And then yet, the grief will move with us and will stay with us but will move with us, and it will shift and it'll change, but it'll be a part of our lives forever. We never move through grief. It moves with us. So you guys decide what you truly want, and then whatever that is, you make that decision. And when I say, like, if you don't want to be here, let go, I'm not talking about killing yourself in any way. What I mean by that is when we're in a situation where we might be in a hospital bed, we might be sick, we might, be terminally ill, and we're holding on, like literally holding on to our bodies. Okay, that's how you're staying in this world. But if you're at that point where you don't want to be here, just let go of your body. You don't need to stay within it. And as soon as your soul leaves your body will die. That's why people go into comas and never wake up. They've left. The body's still there because of modern medicine keeping it alive. But if not, they wouldn't be there. So actively make that choice. It's your choice. No one else's. We do it for the right reasons and we do it for the wrong reasons, whether we live or die. But find out what that is for you and then make that choice. And if you make the choice to stay, and I'm taking my own lesson to this, then stay. Find peace, find happiness to be here. Because some grief is terrible. It really sucks. All of it sucks. For some of us, after some years, due to the natural order of things, it's okay. We miss them, and we wish they were here on important events, but when it's out of the natural order, it's really hard. And even for myself, I hear you, my spirit friends, that even for myself, I choose to be here, yet part of me has one foot out the door. I can't be that. Nobody can. Otherwise, you have continued health problems. So I am consciously bringing my foot out of the door right now as we speak. So if the lighting changes in here, you guys will have to let me know. But I am consciously bringing myself back. And that's the thing, just consciously choosing. Okay. All right. I am getting a warning about an airline, a flight, and that is not a good idea to fly. I'm not hearing a specific flight, just somewhere either out of Philly or to Philly, Philadelphia. And right now, with everything going on and all these amazing deals because of COVID and stuff like that, everyone, I want you to keep in mind that follow your gut again as to whether or not that deal is worth it. I know we're all a little stir crazy. I know we all want to go back to things being normal. It will never be normal again. We are seeing things and making changes that we should have been doing a long time ago. And so the new normal is not what the normal was. And unfortunately, some businesses are going to fall. And before doing that, they're going to cut corners and make things shift and change. So before we do any kind of flights or any kind of major, situations like going to travel somewhere, before you hit click, if one of two things happen, you're hesitant in that moment and really unsure if you should or should not push that button, don't push it. No matter how good the deal is. I don't care if it's $20. And if you push that button and then later on decide to not go or, question it, it was only $20. How many times have you wasted $20 in the world? Seriously, all the time. All the time. The other thing is if you're trying to order something and no matter what you do, it's not loading appropriately, it's not moving forward appropriately, you tried to reconnect, it's not connecting appropriately, the spirits are trying to stop you from making a bad decision. So listen to them. Listen to them. They're there all the time, even strangers, even for some of you who haven't really lost anybody that you know. And that's okay, because you have your spirit guides, and then you have family that's part of your family tree that's still on the other side that you don't know, that are there to help you and guide you. So those are ways that they intervene. The hesitations, the getting lost, when we're driving around or we lose our keys for a brief second, they're trying to stop us to avoid us from getting hurt in some fashion, whether it's physically, emotionally, or mentally. Yet we choose to ignore them all the time. All the time. So if they're trying to tell you something, they're going to distract you. They're going to make things not work. They're going to make you second guess it. Listen. That's where you need to listen. That's the most important thing. So, and even if you ignore them, but then when the time comes, you listen, okay. Yeah, no one likes to waste money, especially in today's current environment. But loss of money is definitely better than loss of life or a major hurt within life that is, terrible, not okay. So, okay, where else are we going to go? All right, so Tony. There's a lot of Tonys. A lot of Tonys over there. But the Tony specifically over here, apparently whoever this person was over there, which is his uncle Tony as well, that was what he seemed to always say to you, was your name repetitively. And it just seemed like that was the only time you would listen, is when somebody would say your name over and over again until it annoyed you, which then would make you pay attention. So I'm just pointing that out there, Tony. So pay attention to this. Whatever he's about to say. All right. So you're already balancing too much. Getting a dog right now, even though dogs are awesome, and those that have dogs know, it's too much. You can't. You're too busy, you're too traveling, even if it's by car, because I asked if you were the one for the flight, and I was told no. But you're too busy, you're too traveling too much. It's not fair to the dog. You do have, because I thought, well, maybe you have no family, but I'm hearing you do have a wife and kids, but they're all a little older. The wife works as well. The kids are always busy, so no one's really there for the dog. And you want the dog more than anybody else wants the dog. So if that's the case, then don't get a dog. Get a cat. I know cats are different. You either love cats or you just don't like cats. But some cats do have personalities. Some cats are very loving. Some cats can fulfill the need that you're looking for, because you're looking for something that bridges the family together from an animal perspective, because it feels like that's the only thing missing in your home is an animal for enjoyment, for playing, petting, that kind of thing. But a dog's not a good idea right now. If you do get a dog still, because again, you have free will to do whatever they tell you. And so he's telling me to tell you, if you still choose to get a dog, get an extremely large, docile dog. And the reason being is because they typically don't have a lot of energy, so they wouldn't mind sleeping all day, and then getting some activity for a few hours and then sleeping all night. Labs are great for that, especially a lab mix with another large dog breed. Doesn't have to be expensive. Shelter dogs are awesome. You just have to be patient with them. And that's the other thing, is a puppy is too much for you, so I know you're not going that avenue. But a shelter dog as well needs at least 3 months to acclimate to their new environment, to feel trust, to feel love, to feel like everything's okay. So, if you're going to do this, then make sure it's over a time when somebody's going to be home for 3 months, just so the animal gets used to the environment. Otherwise, all you're going to do is want to take it back, and that just hurts the dog even more. Cats are different. Cats just do their thing, honestly. Some of them just show more affection than others. So, okay, Tony, you got that message. So, listen up. Don't get a dog unless you can spend 3 months at home with the dog and get a large dog. Okay. Where else? Anthony W. So similar to Tony, but never by Tony. You got this. I know things are hard. I know things can be hard. It feels like your whole insides are being turned and twisted inside out. And the only time that you feel normal is if you're using something, whether it's substance, such as alcohol, drugs, marijuana, cigarettes, whatever, even sometimes sex. Yeah, life can suck. And yet we got to start from the inside. If we start from the inside, then all that stuff that sucks starts to go away. Because how we approach it is going to be different. Because let's face it, things suck. Things are going to suck. Stress is still there. Stress will always be there. But how we approach it is different. So if we can approach it differently, positively, or a way to get rid of it as soon as we hit it, that's not a substance, it's not an unhealthy behavior pattern, then that's the best way to help move yourself forward. Okay. Carol K, Carol R, Carol, another Carol K, Carol W, a Carol A, and a Carol C. There's a lot of Carols to talk about. The reason I used it, just in case you're wondering why I'm not saying their last names, is privacy perspective. Some people may not want their business out there from a spiritual perspective. So, especially if some things are challenging or difficult to hear. So I use initials. So how you know it's for you? Does whatever I say next resonate with you? If it makes sense, then it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's fine. It's not you. You can always reach out and ask, and I'll ask the spirits if it was you in the end. Okay. So there's, for all of you guys, there's changes coming your way, but in different avenues. Some of you is relationships, some of it is financial, some of it is housing, some of it is jobs, it's almost every kind of avenue. But every avenue that's coming your way seems like in order to have whatever it is that you are getting, there's strings attached. And if there's strings attached, your choice if you want to still acquire whatever it is. But if those strings attached are not something you're comfortable with, it's okay to say no. It's okay to just, no, I don't want it. Yes, things can be difficult, especially short term if you say no, but it's not the end of the world. It's not. Things will change. But they want you to make sure you're making the right changes for the reasons that you need to. And from a family perspective, there's various different labels. Aunts, grandmoms, mostly females. There's only like one grandfather over there and one dad, but mostly females and mostly aunts, moms, grandmoms kind of thing. So really just decide for yourself which strings attachments are okay and which ones are not. All right, so now back to Terry. All right, Terry, finally, towards the end, which is great, especially since you were the first person to say anything on the YouTube chat line. Like I said, unfortunately, the Facebook stuff is not working right now. I don't know why, so I'll have to figure that out later after the day's over. But all right, Terry, you got such awesome energy coming your way. So you're a very positive person to begin with. You can get down, and usually when you get down, it's because you are empathic and you're energy sensitive. So you can sense spirits and you can sense energy, whether it's the space energy, whether it's people, whatever the energy might be, but you sense that. And when things get kind of crazy in the world, even in your home, your work environment, the world itself, you can feel depressed and you can feel lost and you can feel lonely. And that's spirit. So push them away. And you do that through white light, which there should be a video out there for you to see on how to white light. Or message me and I'll tell you how to white light. But push them away, especially when you're really feeling off. Because it seems like the only time they really affect you is when you're going through some things in your life in general, that then the spirits magnify. But then also with certain situations like the full moons and planet alignments and things like that, it does change the Earth's energy, and it gives spirits more energy to utilize to communicate and present themselves in different ways. So for you, it's situational. Yes, you still have these abilities, but you think a lot and you're constantly go, 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 go in your mind. And when you do that, that's when things can get really challenging and really bogged down, because when you don't have that constant thought, that constant distraction, your abilities turn on. It's the only way that I can function and be within life is to ignore them. And I ignore them by thinking and doing things. So you have a lot going on in situational perspectives. So push them back and push them away so that way you can truly be there for yourself and your family, and not feel so bogged down. Yeah, Mom says hi too. Sorry, I was just listening to who specifically was talking to me, but Mom says hi. She wants you to know that there's not many changes coming your way outside of the spiritual stuff. That for the most part you're kind of where you need to be right now. Before any real significant changes happen for you is going to be closer to the end of next year, so the end of 21, beginning of 22, which is so crazy to even say those words. But it will come fast and it will shift and it will change. So right now, steady as you go. That's where she wants me to tell you to be, and just work on pushing these spirits back. So that will be significant for you. Okay. So there's a lot of activity right now in the world. I don't know if we have a full moon. I'm not really up on that kind of thing. It's usually one of those moments where I finally look and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. But there's been a lot of spiritual activity lately, even for me. Seeing them with my own eyes, which although I can see that way, takes a lot of energy for the spirits to show me exactly what it is they look like. And they've been doing that a lot. So either there's a full moon, and I'll check later today, or something big is about to happen. And not that we can handle another big thing. Honestly, I think we would all lose our minds if we did. But yeah. And I know that there's some big things on the horizon. We have the fall coming in with COVID, and what does that mean for especially us in America, who we have a hard time getting this under control because of our lifestyles and our opinions and just everything. But it is real. And for those that think it's not because they haven't known anybody to get it or die from it, I'm very happy that that's not the case. And I wish that, and I hope that never happens, and that you can always have deniability because you didn't know somebody. But it is absolutely real. It absolutely hurts people. And yes, the people that die, most of them have underlying problems. But if they didn't get COVID, they wouldn't have died, at least not in that timeline. So regardless of your belief system, it is real. And when the fall happens, because it thrives in the cold, we're going to get hit again. And if we get hit again and shut things down, there's going to be a lot of turmoil for the American people for a lot of reasons. Those that are mad at people for not believing it and violating it, and those that don't believe in it and are mad that they're being restricted again. So lots of hate, as well as the presidential election. A lot of hate's going to be coming back our way. So all my empaths out there, all the energy sensitives, unfortunately, it is what it is. White light yourself. Find a meditation practice that works for you. I cannot meditate. It will turn the abilities on. So I do a little thinking, such as stained glass work, to where it's not thinking, but it is at the same time. And the reason with the presidential election, there's going to be a lot of hate, because regardless of the outcome, half of the people are going to be pissed off. It just is what it is. And those that are pissed off that Trump didn't get in are now pissed off at everybody else who didn't vote for Trump. And for those that, if Trump gets in, now you have all those people that are angry because Trump got in. So lots of anger, lots of hate. That does not help our world. It does not help the empaths. It does not help energy sensitive people, because it is a ripple effect. So for all you out there, if your body starts shaking in the middle of the night, it is the energy of the world, and just be prepared for, honestly, shit to hit the fan. And just know that, just be safe, and just approach everything that you can with love and acceptance, because it'll help. It really will help. All right, so I think that's about time. Yep, that's about time. All right, everybody. What is today? The 5th. So next Saturday, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I'm trying to get a hold of somebody to do a past life regression. It would be a pre-recorded, so that way I can handle a time zone difference. So I'm hoping either that'll be next weekend or the following weekend. But stay tuned for updates. I'll let you guys know through the normal channels what I'll be talking about. If you have suggestions, let me know, and I'll put them out there as well. Stay safe, everyone. Happy September, and until I see you all on chat line again.